first off, let me start by saying I've had the opportunity to have played the original Spider-Man game back in 2018 when it first launched on the PS4 Pro console, and I've also replayed it on the PS5 with the launch of the remastered version alongside of Spider-Man Miles Morales. So I guess the question stands, is it worth to buy the remastered a second time on PC, or even if this is your first time dipping into the webhead's adventures? What is up, true believers? It's your friendly neighborhood gamer tech here. Welcome to my review of Spider Man Remastered. Let's get this straight out of the way. Now, Insomniac Games hasn't opted in for your average Spidey origin story, which is great because I'm tired of seeing Uncle Ben die over and over again. It's getting really old at this point. This Spider-Man has been Spider-Man for 8 years. We meet a more down on his luck hero who's ultimately trying to find a balance between life and being Spider-Man himself. Alright, now let's talk web swinging and locomotion webheads. This is some of the most fluid, straightforward, and best feeling webs that you can spin as Spidey. You truly feel like Spider-Man bustling through the urban jungle known as NYC. It feels fast and snappy while still allowing you to feel euphoric going from building to building, whether you're running up the wall, doing quick web zips from high to low to keep that serious badass looking Spidey streak going. It's solid through and through, and I just can't stop praising it. Insomniac did an excellent job at adapting that Batman Arkham fluid style combat to make it truly feel like Spider-Man. Spidey has some pretty neat tricks that you can do in a fight, all the way from your basic punch and kick combos, web yanks, throws, some pretty sweet aerial moves. Even the finishers are nice and satisfying. With the help of great audio design, you can feel every punch, thud, and whip you throw the baddies' way, and I'm pretty sure they'll feel it too when they're seeing stars and the cartoonish lump above their head when they're behind bars. Whether you're crime fighting or taking in the sights around New York City, expect to do it smooth as butter. For PC players, the game has an unlocked frame rate so you can experience Spidey's adventures in the cleanest way possible. Flow through combat and traversal with ease, hand those cameras towards the beautiful environment in the fastest fidelity imaginable. Ray tracing takes the stage and gives you some really mesmerizing and realistic reflections. The improved shadow quality in the game is more true to life and not only adds extra definition to the Spidey suit, but also breathes more life into the city. Thanks to NVIDIA and AMD's upscaling technology, you can get very minimal compromise to image quality while using ray tracing to get the game looking the absolute best it's ever have. Touching back on the story in this game, it's fun, and there's never really a dull moment throughout. Whether you're watching a super crispy detailed cutscene filled with exposition, or on your adventure to save the city, this is an unapologetic Spider-Man story and the game doesn't let you forget it. The game also doesn't let its protagonist overshadow the other appearances in the game like Mary Jane Watson, Miles Morales, Otto Octavius, and even Norman Osborn. Spidey's rogue gallery really takes center stage and commands the audience with dazzling performances when they are on screen. You have some of Spider-Man's greatest foes like Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Kingpin, Mr. Negative, Vulture, and even Shocker. Some more I won't get into for spoiler reasons. The game doesn't overload you with all the villains on screen at once. It spaces them out fairly well so you don't get a bad case of deja vu. Spider-Man 3. Anyways, moving on from that now. The game has multiple stealth sections of Spidey. I find Spidey stealth sections to be the most entertaining because you have various and creative ways from doing an extended takedown on an unsuspecting thug to webbing someone from a vent or a wall. Sometimes you have to stay stealthy or it'll result in a mission fail, but some are optional, which I find enticing to the player, giving them the opportunity to truly play their way. Insomniac Games has spared no expense when it came to big crazy sequences in Marvel Spider-Man. There are quite a few large-scale moments in the game, like Spider-Man trying to stop a baddie from destroying the city in a helicopter, and an explosive moment at City Hall when things seem rather neutral and calm. The game never ceases to amaze, with the scale of sequences getting bigger and more ambitious as the game goes on. One of the best things I really like about Marvel Spider-Man is that it's a fantastic entry point for newcomers. It feels easily accessible and doesn't punish you for being a newcomer to the title. So whether you're a super fan or a newbie, this game will be easy to understand and fun to play without an information overload or too in your face. Even with what I hoped was a day one patch, let's just say it didn't work too well. When I first booted up the game, I was cheerful and high spirits. And then I got into the first combat section. Once I threw my very first web blast, it looked more like a web tornado as some very questionable fluids. I immediately quit the game and began some basic troubleshooting issues, which didn't fix everything. I turned off ray tracing for the time being, but ultimately I'll have to wait for a patch and see if my experience improves. If you get all the fun and exciting side content over with before you finish the game, you'll just be stuck free roaming, redoing challenges to get the highest score possible, or just some random street crime. Maybe even replaying the game on New Game Plus with all your upgraded goodies from the previous save. I'd wish there was a Spider-Man game where we can do or see more, but unfortunately so far, there's nothing really cool to do after the credits roll. I'm going to give this game two different scores, one for the game itself and one for the PC port, because I feel as if the game itself is an absolute banger. Insomniac has done a phenomenal job through and through, with adapting the web slinger and doing him justice well, filling the game with fun nods and cameos to its previous game and movie franchises, making a fun and biting story for Spider-Man fans that will leave them clamoring for a sequel. However, this is just not a great PC port I'd fully feel comfortable recommending at this time, with the various crashing and texture issues just barely passable performance. Overall, I'm going to rate the PC port of the game a so-so wonder. I think that it can be a better port with future patches and fixes, that this port could really shine, but right now, it's just not good in my personal experience. In closing, Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered is an excellent game that has a fantastic story, fun web swinging mechanics, amazing characters, brilliant stealth mechanics, great combat, and the right game studio behind it. Nixes really needs to give this game a few more patches and a bit more time in the oven before I can fully recommend the PC version of the game. For now, if you have a PlayStation 5 or even a PS4, I'd wait a bit for the PC version and just play those more stable ports. This has been my text take on Spider Man Remastered. Catch you next time, lamb chops.